Hello there everyone, this is Captain Dave with Simple Plan Trucking. As I promised, I'm going to come to you each week and give you a recap of the week in training, TNT training, which stands for Trainee and Training, I believe. It's part of the Prime training program, Prime Incorporated training program, where you get actual experience on the road. It comes after obtaining your CDL. You go out onto the road with a certified trainer for 30,000 miles to get experience driving a truck. After that time, if you complete this part adequately, you're then able to upgrade and become either a company driver, a lease operator, or a lease owner. And so I'm in week 2. I've got 2 weeks under my belt right now. This week we had more non-driving time than both of us would have liked, but there were some things that happened, some things that we needed to take care of administratively that kept us from getting all the miles we'd like to. But we're still on track to hopefully finish my TNT training by the end of January. So I think the last time we talked, we had gone to Florida last Wednesday we had gone to Florida for me to get my CDL, my actual hard copy CDL. The way that Prime works is you test in whichever state that you're doing your CDL training. For me, that was in Springfield, Missouri, and you pass the Missouri CDL exam, but you're actually licensed in the state that you reside. I live in Florida, so after passing my test, I had to, within 30 days, get down to Florida to actually get a hard copy of my CDL at the Department of Motor Vehicles. That's what I was doing last week on Thursday, actually Wednesday afternoon. Eric dropped me off. Eric, my trainer, dropped me off. My wife picked me up and took me to the DMV, and I was able to do that in about 30 minutes. So he continued on down south to deliver a load in Riviera Beach. He did that. Then the next load that we were going to pick up was a Tropicana Load over in Bradenton, Florida, and he worked his way over there, but wasn't able to pick it up actually until the very next day, I think on Friday. He was able to pick up the load, and then he came and picked me up. He got it early in the morning and picked me up, and then I drove us on as we worked our way back up into Springfield. Picked me up in Florida. We stayed again at Villa Rica, Georgia, at a Flying J truck stop there, and then we just split the drive. We were able to get back up there. What happened was, because the load was not due to be delivered for a couple more days, there was lots of time on the load, and we went ahead and had that load repowered. It was going to Utah, but we took it to Springfield because we had some things we needed to get done in Springfield, and there was plenty of time on the load for somebody else to get it out there. So that's what we did. We got into Springfield on Saturday afternoon, and the offices were shut down, so I wasn't able to get my TWIC card or get into the post office to pick up my wallet, or I had something else sent to me in the mail as well, which was coming. So my wife had sent some glasses up from Florida, replacement glasses for me, so I couldn't get those till Monday. But I did spend some time taking care of business in Springfield. I checked into the campus inn, and Eric went on home and spent some time with his wife Jenna. He also had planned to have some work done on the truck, which he wasn't going to be able to get done over the weekend. So after we did all that, we couldn't get a load out until Tuesday. We were supposed to go earlier on Tuesday morning, but as it worked out, we didn't actually get out of there until late Tuesday night. The load was a cheese load that went from the caves, the cavern system that is there in Springfield, pretty close to the Springfield Prime offices, underground storage facility. I didn't get to actually go down into the cave system, but we picked up on the lot. The trailer was ready for us. We got out of there about 2 in the morning. I had gone to sleep about 10 because we were waiting, and Eric drove through the night. Then I got up that morning at 6 or 7 and drove us on into Columbus, Ohio, to deliver that load. From there, it was went pretty smoothly. We delivered the load. We got a pre-planned on another load to go to down to Orlando actually, and it was a laser ship freight expediting company. So we picked up mail packages basically, and we left and headed down to Orlando. Got down to Orlando, dropped that off, and then we were held up again for a day and a half until we could pick up the next load, which was the juice load to get us back out of Florida. And we're actually headed now to Oklahoma with this load. We're going to carry the I think it's a Starbucks drinks we're going to take and deliver out there, and hopefully to get a good load out of there, like a meat load coming out of Dodge City, Oklahoma. We're going to see what happens, but that's the intention. So that's what the week's been like since last time. Just being on the road for the most part. We did have, again, some downtime, which was unavoidable. You know, when you're in TNT, there are things that you have to take care of along the way. So as I said, I think we're still on track to finish our miles by the end of January. We're going to be off for a week between Christmas and New Year's, and then we're going to hit it hard. We have 2 more weeks, then Christmas week off, then we have the whole month of January. But no matter how long it takes, we'll get it done. We'll continue to learn and keep positive through the process. All right, so I wanted to just take a few minutes with you and share with you some of my experiences in week 2. They're important. I mean, we need to continue to learn. We need to keep the communications going back and forth between the trainer and the trainee, and I think we did a pretty good job of doing that. Some things that I really focused on this week were continuing to learn with the Qualcomm, the ELD. Every single time that you stop the truck, there needs to be something documented in that Qualcomm. There has to be a written record of what the driver is doing 24 hours a day, whether they're driving, whether they're on duty, fueling, doing an inspection, they're unloading at receiver, or even sleeping. You know, we have to have documented time that we are in the sleeper berth for every 24 hours. And if we're not, you know, if we were to get pulled over and be audited, you know, we could get in trouble for that. So as a new driver, it's important that you not forget to do those things. We can make some corrections to the logs, but we really need to be remembering to do that. And that's been a challenge for me, because as I'm focused on driving and backing and trip planning and, you know, just staying focused on the road. And then, you know, when I get to a shipper receiver, I'm going through my head about the procedures on what needs to happen. And I sometimes forget that I have to document each one of those steps. So that's why it's great that I have a trainer sitting right here next to me to say, oh, don't forget this, don't forget that. My hope is over the next few weeks, he'll won't have to say that as much, and I'll start to retain it on my own. But he's just been great. And so that's one thing that I've been working on. Sleeping on the truck. When you're a truck driver, I'm learning that you don't get to sleep when you want to. You have to sleep when the opportunity presents itself. We never know how long our loads are, where we're going, what time it has to be delivered, what time we have to leave, what's going on with our co-driver. All of those things can just be immeasurable variables that can change on a moment's notice. So, you know, what I've learned and what Eric has shared with me is you really have to sleep when you have the opportunity to. Even if you just woke up a little while ago, if you're stuck at a receiver, you're stuck at a shipper for whatever reason, and you're not going to get unloaded or loaded for 4 or 5 or 6 hours, you better go to sleep, because if you don't, after you'll be driving and you'll become tired, and you have to absolutely do everything you can to be well rested when you get into the seat and begin your drive shift. Last week we spent the majority of our time, actually all the time, driving more in a super solo environment, which means that my trainer pretty much worked the same clock that I did. He would drive a little bit after my shift to extend our hours and our miles, but anytime I was in the seat, he was awake, and that's good in your first week. He has to have a comfort level that he can trust me to drive the truck, and I need to have him there to be comfortable to ask questions if I have them. But when we started back this week, we pretty much started in a true team format. We did 12-hour shifts pretty much. If it was during his 12 hours, he drove, and during the day I've been driving, and so far it seems to have been working great. we're hoping to continue in that mode and knock out the miles just as soon as we can. I think I need to talk about cornering. Cornering is something that you always have to be aware of. And when I say cornering, I'm talking about how we turn the truck at corners, especially at a 90 degree, either to the left or the right. You really have to make sure that you pull that truck out far enough into the intersection that the back wheels of the trailer are at the intersection before you start to make that turn. So that means you pull straight ahead. If you're making a right turn, you pull way out there, you're watching in your rear view mirror to the right mirror, and when those tires get there, then you make a sharp right, and you kind of track the rear tires around the curb, about 1 or 2 feet away from the curb, to avoid the trailer becoming off track and running up onto the curb and hitting a sign or hitting something. So we certainly want to be cautious of that. Same thing to the left. If you're making a left-hand turn, you want to pull as far ahead as you can before turning left at a T, and then make a sharp turn and track the back wheels of the trailer around that corner as well. There's lots to learn. Listen, fueling, when we stop to fuel the trucks, it's not as simple as putting gas into your car at home. We have the apps for all of the truck stops, and out here you get into the app ahead of time and you set up your fueling before you get there. You put all the information in, all the numbers you in, how much you want, and then it's all preset. So when you get to the island at the truck stop, you just get out of the truck, you put your card in, you put in the code, boom, and it's ready to go. And it really saves a lot of time, especially when there's other truckers back there behind you that are waiting to get their fuel too. And it takes a while to fuel a truck. Remember, you have 100-gallon tanks on both sides, and then sometimes you have to put your DEF fluid in there as well. So it can take a while to get a truck fueled up. So you want to get up there and be efficient and get it done as quickly as you can, so that you're looking out for the people behind you too, and not taking too much time there at the pump. I think that's really most of the things that I was focused on for the week. The one other thing that comes to mind is learning how to use the engine brake. You may have heard of it, engine brake or a Jake brake. In trucks, it's not really a brake at all. What it is, it's a way to control the airflow that goes into the engine. And when you apply this brake, it is actually a system to help slow the engine without using your brakes. So you use it in conjunction with your brakes when you're going down hills. And there's 3 different positions. Position 1 applies a certain amount of resistance, position 2 a little more, and then position 3 is for really steep or long grades where you need lots of assistance to stop the load behind you, the truck and the load behind you. So it's taken me a while to figure that out, which level to use, when to apply it, when not to apply it. The nice thing in the Peterbilt is that you can always use it, leave it in level 1. You don't have to turn it off, and it doesn't impede your progress when you're going up hills or driving on a flat road. But when you're coming downhill, it automatically engages when you need it. And that's important, because when you have a heavy load behind you, even on a slight grade, if it goes on for any length of time at all, that load is going to accelerate you and push you. And if you're not paying attention to your speedometer, it's real easy to go too fast, and it could trigger the system, and you could get a critical event, which is not a good thing, and something we all need to avoid. It could extend our training, and more importantly to that, it could be unsafe. So learn how to use that engine brake, use it effectively. It's a fantastic tool, and I'm enjoying learning that and driving the truck, monitoring my speed, monitoring my mirrors, always looking at what's going on behind me, looking out the mirrors and where the back of the trailer is. It really is not something that you can take your focus away from. When they call us professional drivers, it's for a reason, because we're not just coasting down the road in our Toyota Camry. We're driving a large vehicle with a lot of weight that could be very dangerous to other people and to ourselves, and the value of the freight as well. So it's exciting. I'm enjoying it so much every day. I'm more convinced that I made the right decision to get into trucking and come to work for Prime. I want to share my journey with you. I want those of you that may be interested in trucking to just see what it's like out here, see what it's like to be on the road. If you're considering it, what it's like to live in a truck. How often do you get to go home? What it's like eating, and when you shower, you know, what are the shower facilities like, and you know, how long can you drive, and do you just get exhausted with constantly driving and getting up? These are things that went through my mind, and as I experienced them, I want to share them with you. So that's what I'm here for. Please, if I'm sharing something with you that you enjoy, please like the video, comment below, ring the bell, and please subscribe. I'd love to have you as a subscriber to my channel. Share it with anyone that you can. That's it for today. I'll be back with more videos tomorrow, and I'll continue the process of TNT evaluation with week 3. Folks, please remember to be safe out there. Take care of each other. Give a little more than you get, and I'll be seeing you down the road. Take care. This is Captain Dave with Simple Plan Trucking. Good night.